7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got a lot to get into today. Really excited for the show as we head into the long Memorial Day weekend, where we honor those who gave it all for this country. And I think me and Mason were talking yesterday. We're doing the Memorial Day stuff, and it's like because we're off on Monday, and it always feels so awkward to say Happy Memorial Day, because I feel like it needs to be a little bit more somber, a little bit more respectful. And we've lost 13 military personnel over in Iran already. There's a lot of families that are going to be taking this Memorial Day in through a different lens than they have in the past, and we just want to let everybody know that we're praying for those families. We're praying for your family if this Memorial Day means a little bit more to you than some others. If this is more than just a long weekend and a time for barbecues, we just want to let you know that we're wrapping you in prayer this weekend, and we thank you for what you've had to sacrifice if you've lost a loved one overseas in some of these wars, if Memorial Day just means a little bit more to you. So as we move through the show, just know that we are thinking about you, and we are praying for you and your families, because I think that we have a lot of veterans in this community and in this audience, and again, it's just different. It feels awkward saying Happy Memorial Day, so it's not a happy long weekend for everybody. For some people, it's a cause of a lot of pain. It's tough. So we just want to acknowledge that before we get started. And in the meantime, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There were some massive developments in Minnesota yesterday. More silver bracelets being handed out. And we're going to talk about the Trump DOJ announcing a massive $90 million fraud bust in Tim Walz's Minnesota, don't you know? And criminal charges being slapped on 15 defendants. The mastermind of the Feeding Our Futures fraud scandal, the largest COVID-era fraud scandal in America. Its mastermind, Amy Bach, was sentenced to 42 years in federal prison. So it's a wild development. We'll also give you some updates on what's happening in LA. And then we're also going to be soliciting advice. I'm going to be speaking at the Middle Tennessee Homeschoolers Association graduation tomorrow for the high school.
Oh, interesting.
And my best advice that I've ever gotten, it doesn't come from my head. It comes from other people. So if you got advice that you think high schoolers need to know, let me know what it is, because I want to impart some wisdom on these kids while I have their ear for 10 to 15 minutes. And I know that I am not the wisest of the bunch. So I'll take any advice that you got for these kids, and I'll work it into this speech that I'm working on. I'm waiting till the night before. Maybe that would be my piece of advice. Don't wait until the night before.
I don't know. All my best papers were written the night before.
This is true. But I mean, kids today, man, it's gonna be a tough go. Like, I'm not even beating around the bush. If you're graduating high school this weekend, this month, everybody's all over the board, right? Are they graduating right now? Some people are still going for a couple weeks.
I think the last week of schooling was this week.
Okay, but all right, so
graduating by next weekend probably.
If you're graduating today, though, you're I guess how would you explain it? I think it would be similar to kind of my graduating class in 2008, where like the internet was here, but it didn't reach the heights it had reached yet. Like
it wasn't accessible to everybody.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah,
we had it at our fingertips, but we weren't really ready for the full scope of it. And I think that you could say the same thing with the graduating high school class of 2026 with the advancement of AI. Like, these kids are in a unique position, right? Where AI is very capable. It's a powerful tool currently, But we're looking down the barrel here in 10 to 12 years where what, a third to half of the jobs in the United States could be eliminated because of AI. So how you react in this moment, if you're a high schooler or even a college grad, it's really going to dictate the rest of your life. Are you going to be resistant to new technology, or are you going to harness it and use it to create your future? And that's going to be kind of one of my main points that I'm thinking about, because you do. I mean, if you're of an entrepreneurial spirit, you have an opportunity with AI to do what used to take 20 people. If you are a lazy individual, you're going to turn around in 5 years and realize that the game has passed you by faster than you could have ever anticipated. So you're at an inflection point here in American history, for better or worse. I mean, we can kick and we can scream and we can resist, or we can adapt and we can harness it and we can become even more better versions of ourselves. So it's a weird time. And how do you speak to these kids? So anytime, any kind of advice that you have for these young people, hop in, send me a text, call in, 615-737-9986. I'm going to impart on them the Charlie Kirk wisdom, which I think is very, very timely, which is get a job. If you don't want to live in poverty, get a job, graduate high school, check, they've completed that, and don't have kids out of wedlock. And if you do those three things, you're setting yourself up for a lot of success. You are. But you guys have seen a lot more. I'm 37. I think I've lived some years, but I'm wise enough to know that I don't know everything. So for everybody else in the audience that can impart some wisdom on these kids, want to impart some wisdom on these kids, I'm here to take it. 615-737-9986. I got a lot of people saying, don't go to college. You're paying for indoctrination. Go to trade school. Make six figures. Never compromise who you are. The trade school stuff is definitely an avenue that I'm going to go down, because that's, at least, I mean, I have two boys myself, 8 and 6, about to be 7 and 9 as we get into the summer. And it's like, how do you AI proof the future? I mean, as of right now, we're not in a spot where AI is going to be laying the pipes, right? It's not going to be digging the ditches. Not yet. We might get to a point there, but be an electrician, get into HVAC work, get into plumbing. It's funny, I was talking to a friend of mine, Dave, and he runs a construction business, and he was telling me, his son, he's how old is he? Gosh, of course, I'm gonna flub it. I want to say he's in high school, and it's his oldest of 3 boys. And he's like, hey, he's really excited. He wants to lay brick over the weekend. And I said, Dave, you know what you should really do? You should, first of all, that's awesome, right? Like that's incredible. The kid wants to work with his hands, but you should lean in on him with AI, and tell him to build you an AI interface that's going to generate leads and do the computer work that guys of me and Dave's age is past us, right? Like, even at 37, I'm well aware that I'm never going to be able to harness the full capabilities of the internet the same way that a young kid who instinctively understands it better than I do will be able to. So I said, Dave, lean in on that. Not only do the hard work, which is great, builds character, teaches him some self-worth, teaches him a lot of lessons that will be learned, through that hard work. But then lean on him for the stuff that we can't do. Lean on him to build you these AI agents, optimize your website, do all these other things, because that's the thing that's going to create a company that you can pass down to these boys that will then be generational wealth. At least that was my advice. Maybe it's bad advice. Maybe it's the wrong advice. Maybe I'm off. But I was like, have him do what you can't. Have him do what our generation, it's already past us. Because I think that's one of the ways of the future. Larry texted and he said, the best advice I got in high school, the only person I have to impress is myself. That's true. Best advice I've recently received, recently decided, 7063. Whose opinion matters? You'll never decide whose opinion matters. You'll never be able to please anyone, certainly not your so-called internet friends, social media friends. Decide now whose opinion matters and put effort into those relationships. A really sincere evaluation of that will generally lead you to less than 5 or 10 people. Use those as your bellwether of everything you do. Keep your circle small. I mean, I think that's boiled down, right? But Jordan Peterson, I love Jordan Peterson, and some of his old talks absolutely radicalized me. But one of his best piece of advice was be careful who you share good news with. Be careful who you share bad news with. I thought that was impressive. 0478 said, I'm wrong. Tell that kid to keep his head down and keep laying bricks. Maybe. You can do both, though. That's the thing. If you can optimize AI, they're going to do the office work while you do the hard work. Does that make sense? Like if you can optimize AI in such a way that you can have an AI agent creating appointments, filling your calendar, generating leads, you can focus more on the hard work while that does the busy work. And I think that's the route that AI is going to take. I could be wrong. I'm not going to pretend to be an AI expert, but at least when I'm reading the tea leaves, it's like it's the optimization stuff. It's the office work. It's the accounting. It's the payroll stuff. Those are the things that AI is going to take off your plate. And if you can harness that correctly, you're going to make a much more profitable business. Whereas, you might run a construction company now and you're hiring six, like if you run a big construction company and you got 6 people working at the home office, taking those phone calls, making those appointments, dispatching those drivers, all of that is going to be optimized. All of that is going to be eliminated. So do you want to be on the back end trying to keep up, or do you want to be ahead of it? And that would be some of the advice I would give to young people. And I think that does go back into stick with the trades, but be on the cutting edge of tech. So 1012 said, close out the speech with birds aren't real. Listen, these are homeschool kids. They're pretty advanced.
They know.
They absolutely know the birds aren't real. So I want to tell them things that they don't know. They know about the birds. They do. But no, I'm truthfully, I'm honored and like really excited. A kid that barely made it through high school is now being asked to speak to high schoolers. Like, what?
Do they know your high school record?
That's part of the speech.
Good.
I'll fill them in. But it's pretty cool, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's something I didn't see in my future when I was struggling to get through my own high school. But I found something I love. I sunk my teeth into it, and then I was able to harness that, reinvent it, use some really talented people for education along the way. I say use, but that's not the right way to say it. I was lucky enough to have mentors. That would be a piece of advice I would give these kids. You're going to need a mentor. Figure out who it is. Might be your dad. It might be somebody else. It might be somebody you don't even know, and that's okay. But find a mentor would be another piece of advice. 4595 says you only get what you tolerate. 9105 said my grandfather told me many years ago to be the best at whatever you do. It don't make a damn if you're sweeping the floor or CFO, and that has been sage advice over the years. Yep, do it hard, man. Work ethic is great. That's something that people can't take away from you. If the latest you're going to be is on time, if you're always going to give your best effort, these are intangibles. And I tell my boys this in baseball all the time. We don't play baseball because I think my boys are going to be major league players. I'm not against it. Like if it was to happen, it's one of the reasons we have so many kids. One of them's going to hit big, and then I don't have to worry about the 401k. But baseball is a game of life, right? It's like your approach to the game is really how you need to be approaching life. You don't get down on the mistakes because that just compounds mistakes. You got to show up with a good attitude. You got to show up early. You got to put the work in. Like these things are going to carry through with you throughout the rest of your life. That's good advice. But But any advice that you got for these kids, you can drop it on the Facebook page. You can drop it in the YouTube chat. You can drop it on the text line, 615-737-9986. We got to be stewards of this younger generation, especially given the challenges that are on the horizon for them. Because if we let them flounder, so goes the country. In the meantime, we're going to give you some updates on what's happening in Minnesota. This is some crazy stuff. By the way, Senate Republicans took another vacation. I can't tell you how pissed I am at Senate Republicans. No, scratch that. I'll tell you how pissed I am at Senate Republicans. 922 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Up ahead, Home Depot had it up to here with one customer with sticky fingers. We'll tell you what happened to him here in Nashville. It's coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones doing her news live from Jonestown, where the Kool-Aid is always cold. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you
bright
by
red, too.
The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. I wasn't sure if you were going to respond. I feel like every time I bring up that you're doing the show from Jonestown, it's I can feel the side eye. I don't need to see it.
I've given up on the side eye. I'm just accepting it now.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. Joan Jones headlines on the way in less than a minute. My friend Brian in Greenbrier has some advice for these young kids graduating. What's up, Brian?
Good morning, sir. Get up with a good attitude. That's my sister had a stroke like 2 years ago, and before that happened, and even now with the stroke she lives with, she said, you decide when your feet hit the floor if you're going to be a good person or a bad person today. And I think that's great advice. The other things I would say real quick is practice joy, and that's an acronym for Jesus first, others, and then yourself. And don't think too highly of yourself. That's also biblical. And one last thing is study to show yourself approved. I think your brother Tifo would agree with that.
Yes, sir.
Introduce the Bible into your life first, and then others, and especially your children. And I think that's about all I got. I'll be 66 next month, so I've lived a little bit. Went to a Christian high school through a lot of sacrifice from my parents. Met my wife there. We've been married. We'll be 44 years. We make it this year. And it's God has been so good to me, and so I don't ever want to leave him out. But get saved, do what you said about finishing high school, have children after wedlock if you can. I mean, I know that's tough today, especially with what I see out there in the world. The world will eat you alive if you let it.
You're
but
absolutely right.
You do have a brother, and that's Jesus Christ.
Amen, brother. Hey, I appreciate the call. It's 9:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is giving kudos to Pakistan for doing what he calls an admirable job of trying to mediate a peace deal between the U.S. and Iran. However, he's also warning that the U.S. and its allies need to have a plan B ready in the event that Iran decides not to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to the free flow of shipping traffic. The Trump administration is announcing criminal charges against 15 people in Minnesota for $90 million in taxpayer money that went out the door to fraud. Here's FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson, who's also the vice chair of the Anti-Fraud Task Force.
This is money that's intended for, veterans to protect them from homelessness, was being so attacked by fraudsters that there was no way to even keep the program going. And then the program for children with developmental disabilities was supposed to cost $20 million. And over the course of the Biden administration, it went from $20 million a year to $400 million a year because of fraud. The only way to save these programs for the American people so that American citizens get the benefits that they're paying for is to stop the fraud. And this shouldn't be a partisan issue.
He was speaking there on Fox News. Meantime, Amy Bach, the woman who ran the $250 million fraud scheme at Feeding Our Future in Minneapolis, was handed a 42-year prison sentence yesterday. In court, she said, I understand I failed. I failed the public, my family, everyone. Home Depot says that a Nashville man visited multiple locations all around the Nashville area to steal thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. 41-year-old Marvin Day has been arrested. His charges include stealing more than $5,000 worth of materials over the course of 2 weeks and then selling them at several job sites. Detectives searched his car and recovered several items. He's been booked into the Davidson County Jail. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. We got some rain coming in, and it's going to be here for a couple days. This is the perfect time to take a look inside that crawl space or in the basement and check for yourself. Is any water coming in? Now, if you see water coming in, it's not the time to freak out. And it's not the time to ignore it. It's the time to call my friends at USS, United Structural Systems, because when water's coming in, it's not just a home issue, it's a peace of mind issue. And who you trust to fix it absolutely matters. This is why USS is the company that I recommend. They've been doing this work since 1994 right here in Tennessee. They're not going to send you a sales guy worried about his quota with scare tactics offering quick fixes. That's not the move. They're going to send a pro who's going to actually inspect what's going on, give you honest answers and solutions that are built to last. So whether it's foundation repair, crawl space issues, waterproofing, USS is using engineered systems designed for long-term performance, not temporary patches, and these guys are the absolute best. Right now, they're offering 24 months, no interest financing now through the end of June. So don't wait. If the water's coming in, call USS today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. Thirty-seven minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. We're on all the apps, the FM dial, even though I got a text. I got a text from 1579. Did you see what 1579 said? It said, your signal sucks. I can't hear you on my car radio. Well, download the app. Find us on YouTube, Rumble. Hit like and subscribe. It's a great
I was going
opportunity.
to say, I don't think that's our fault.
I don't know. Where are you?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, where? He didn't give us any other context.
Nope.
Just, I'll get Mason right on it. Mason, fix that.
I'll go mess with the satellite outside.
If 1579 could hear us, he would know we're on it. But he can't because the signal sucks.
Bad signal.
We have a signal that is massive. It goes from Kentucky to Alabama, and pretty much the same length on the left and the right.
Yeah.
That's how I do maps. We're going left, so on the left and the right, pretty much the same direction, same distance. So
Yeah, up and down, left and right.
if you're outside of the up, down, left, and right, well then people be having problems.
I don't know what to tell you.
They don't think it'd be like it is, but it do, and I know
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I only know that they're having issues because they be texting.
True.
People be texting.
People be texting.
It's true. Thank you, Jasmine. How's she doing? Have we heard from her lately?
No, and I hope it stays that way for a little while.
Why? Why are you don't? I miss her. I do. I'm missing Jasmine. I miss Joe. I miss Joe. I do.
I mean, we can get you Joe.
I miss him. He was a gift.
But when you middle from the bill,
When you middle from the middle. Poor kids have just as much of a shot as white kids.
I did not say that.
He did. No, you did. You
give me a
won.
break.
He 100% said that.
And Joan, Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga Kawawa.
You know what I'm
True
saying?
words never spoken.
He gave us some gifts. When I do the Middle Tennessee high schoolers graduation speech this weekend, I'm going to channel my inner Joe.
But when you middle from the bill,
I'm gonna walk up onto the stage. I'm assuming there's a stage, but then I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna forget immediately which way I walked onto that stage.
Just gonna say, missed the stairs
I'm
completely.
gonna need. When they say, "Do you need anything?" I'm gonna need somebody to get me off this stage. It's very confusing.
Where am I?
I don't know what to do.
Oh,
People are saying outside of Clarksville, we're very spotty on the radio. That's on the right. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the right, towards the coast.
Mapping ain't my strength, bud. It's just not. I do know, though, Radio Segway Gold, to the north, that's up in Minnesota, don't you know, we have had some major developments in the fraud. Huge developments yesterday. Joan was covering this in her newscast, and I think that this deserves the attention that it needs because the credit here really does need to go to one Nick Shirley. He turned what was an issue that the mainstream media was avoiding, the politicians were ignoring, and he turned it into a national conversation by showing up in Minnesota with his cell phone. And what has he gotten for his efforts? Hell of a lot of death threats, a need for personal security, and an anger from leftists that is just absolutely asinine. It doesn't take a genius to know that when American tax dollars are stolen, that's Democrat tax dollars and that's Republican tax dollars. It's everybody's. You would think that Democrats would be just as adamant that we need to clear up the fraud, waste, and abuse of our tax dollars. I think you could make the argument that Democrats should be more interested in clearing up the fraud, waste, and abuse in our tax dollars because if people are stealing the money for them programs, we're not going to be able to keep these programs going any longer. We need to fix it. And the Trump DOJ yesterday had a massive $90 million fraud bust. This is really, again, this is the fruit that we're seeing from Nick Shirley's reporting. If it wasn't for Nick Shirley's reporting, we would never have had the anti-fraud task force created with fraud czar J.D. Vance at the helm. We would have never had the brand new Assistant Attorney General Colin McDonald going in to focus only on fraud. And we would never have had results like we saw yesterday in Minnesota, where, again, they announced criminal charges being slapped on 15 defendants and a $90 million fraud bust. They had a massive press conference from the National Fraud Enforcement Division of the Department of Justice. And Colin McDonald was flanked by Dr. Oz, RFK Jr., and a bunch of individuals who have been putting in tireless work to root out this fraud in the country. Fraud Enforcement Division. Oh, hang on one second. I got too many things running in the background. This is my fault, not yours. This is Colin McDonald. I got it? Yeah. All right, here we go. I feel sometimes I channel my inner Dan Mandis. I said, Dan, I want to be like you when I grow up. He said, play multiple audios at once.
A little scattered.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love Dan. This is Colin McDonald.
Today, we are announcing criminal charges against 15 defendants in Minnesota for fraud schemes that targeted over $90 million in taxpayer dollars. Let me be clear up front about something. This is not the end of our work in Minnesota. This is not the end of the beginning of our work in Minnesota. This is the beginning of our work in Minnesota.
Let's go. I love that he laid that out just right there in the beginning of the beginning, if you will. The beginning of his speech where he talks about the beginning of the beginning, not the end of the beginning of the beginning. Sorry. I promise I won't do it too much. I don't want to overdo it. That's the end of me overdoing it, not the beginning. Sorry. 15 defendants, $90 million in fraud, more to come.
The fraud here in Minnesota is shocking. Our cases today involve 7 different state-managed Medicaid programs that have been systematically pilfered by fraudsters who treated Minnesota-run programs as their personal piggy bank. One of the programs has been completely shut down because there's no money left. It's all gone. That was Minnesota's state-run Housing Stabilization Services Program.
This is what I'm saying. Democrats tell us that there's a need for a social safety net. Democrats also say it is bigoted for us to be talking about the fraud, waste, and abuse. We're racist. We're only targeting these Somalis because of racism. But it's the fraud that is eliminating these social programs that Democrats, with their toxic empathy, always say we need. Which is it? Do we need these programs? Well, then you should get just as serious as the conservatives are about rooting out this fraud. God bless Colin McDonald for what he's doing. This is a massive deal. The 7 state-managed Medicaid programs has $0 left. Zero. There was another guy talking during the press conference. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but I saw this clip, and the clip is just absolute fire. I wish I could give him the credit that he deserves, but I think that it needs to be heard either way.
All of our programs are built for a high-trust society. We didn't set up these programs with layers and layers and layers of anti-fraud redundancy because we set it up for a people who are accustomed to be able to trust their neighbors, their families, and their friends to do the right thing, to be honest, and not to try to bilk their fellow Americans by raiding these programs. It's become clear that social trust has been diminished and that people have taken advantage of these programs.
They were built for a what? A high-trust society. They were built for, wait for it, a moral nation. What happens when you import millions upon millions of third worlders who look at the United States of America as a piggy bank? You erode the high-trust society. You enable this kind of fraud. It's not racist to notice that. They'll call us racist for noticing that. But when you import the third world, you don't eliminate third world thinking. You just bring it over here. And this is what we're witnessing in Minnesota. This is what we're witnessing in a lot of these communities across the country. Now, to be fair, yes, Americans commit fraud as well. But what we're seeing today is something the likes of which we have never experienced in this country. And while correlation doesn't equal causation, at the same time, we have admitted millions upon millions of people into this country that don't give a damn about America. They don't give a damn about you and your families. And they look at this and they realize without the safeguards in place, they can just steal millions of dollars while you pay for their lifestyle. It's gross. But this is what we need to acknowledge. And this is one of the reasons why mass deportations and conversations about denaturalizing and deporting these individuals need to be had more and more and more. We need to get back to a high-trust society. And I truly think one of the only ways that we can do that is rooting out the third world. They should have never been allowed in here in the first place. I'm sorry, that's harsh, but it's the reality. If you can't come to America and make America better, you shouldn't be coming to America. And furthermore, if you are coming to America and you can make America better, you're actually making your own country worse. Like, this is the toxic empathy of the world. Oh, it's so tough in Somalia. Okay, but anybody with half a brain was able to get their way to America, and then we took out all the thinkers in Somalia. So we've created a brain drain on their society. And it's not just Somalia. I mean, you can go through the list and do countries in South America, other nations in Africa. You can talk about nations in Europe as well. You create a brain drain. That's not good. It's not. This is toxic empathy at all new levels. And as we're seeing this, it's important to point out that everybody said Nick Shirley was a racist for this. Everyone. One of the individuals that Nick Shirley exposed in his video was the owner of a Minneapolis daycare, and he has been charged federally with wire fraud and conspiracy for allegedly stealing $4.6 million in false claims through federal nutrition and state child care assistance programs. Fahima Ega Mahmoud, CEO of Future Leaders Early Learning Center near George Floyd Square in Minnesota, don't you know, is charged with falsely claiming to serve thousands of meals through the Feeding Our Future while defrauding Minnesota's child care assistance program. The daycare allegedly pocketed more than $4.6 million in fraudulent claims before closing in January following state investigations triggered by a viral Nick Shirley video that was posted. What was it? It was the day after Christmas, right? Wasn't it? I think it was the day after Christmas. The timing was brilliant. But remember, the media didn't even want you to think that video was real. And in fact, the mainstream media took it upon themselves to not investigate the fraud, but to try to debunk the fraud. And CNN actually sent a reporter to investigate by making phone calls from hotel rooms. This is what they tried to do to lie to you.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes. The Commissioner of Children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen.
A viral video, their disputed claims. And the fallout remains to be seen. Well, we're seeing the fallout now, and while CNN refused to do any actual investigation, they just tried to discredit Nick Shirley and his reporting, we're now seeing the fruits of the absolute, just unbelievable work that Nick Shirley did. This alt-right extremist YouTuber is leading directly to arrests of fraudsters. It also, it's important to point out, we've been talking. I'm doing this this homeschooler graduation. I'm speaking at a graduation this weekend. I'm probably going to bring up Nick Shirley because if you have just a little bit of balls, I probably won't put it that way. I don't want to scare anybody, but if you have just a tiny bit of stones and spine, and you put in a little bit of effort, you can absolutely change the world. It doesn't matter what age you are. And Nick Shirley is a shining example of that. How old is Nick Shirley? He's in his early 20s. I think he's 21, 22. He's not old by any stretch of the imagination. He's closer to high school than he is to his 30s. Make no mistake about that. And what he was able to do with a cell phone camera, that's what these kids can do.
Yeah, 24.
24.
That's nuts.
Right? He absolutely changed the course of this nation overnight with a YouTube video. Absolutely based. That's the power of the technology if you harness it the right way. It's like a weapon, right? It can be used for evil. It can be used for good. if you harness this technology, you can make an absolute change for the good in this nation. And we need to all be pushing these kids as they're graduating to understand that. We'll talk a little bit more about fraud on the way. We have more statements from the Assistant Attorney General on fraud, Colin McDonald. We also have some statements from RFK on the fraud that they uncovered yesterday in Minnesota. And we're going to be bringing it all to you here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock Store. It is hard to believe that we are just a little over a week away from the 6th annual open house. I cannot wait for the 6th annual open house. It's happening on Saturday, May 30th from 10 to 2. Do you have it circled on your calendar? You should have it circled on your calendar because they're giving away over $50,000 worth of incredible gear. We're talking multiple Glock handguns, stock Glock handguns made even more special by select performance products from the Glock Store's favorite vendors. They're giving away 2 Ruger RXM handguns, one with Aimpoint COA optic. Tons of optics will be given away. Vortex, Aimpoint, Holosun, Zerotech, Glock Store M1X frames, the exclusive Glock Store M1X frame. It makes the best concealed carry weapon, and over 50 people are going to be winning one of those. Plus, multiple people will win Glock parts and accessories from trigger kits to chassis to slides to weapon lights, even suppressors at the open house. Again, this is Saturday, May 30th from 10 to 2. Get there early because the earlier that you get a ticket in the bucket for the raffle, the better chance you have of winning, because if you're there first, it means less tickets in the bucket, which means more chance for you to win. You follow me, right? Myself, Dan Mandis, Matt Murphy will be there. We want to see you as well. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always open online, glockstore.com.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
9:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got a text, and they said, you're such a POS. Let's stop pretending that only immigrants commit fraud or even commit the majority of the fraud when the Defense Department exists. Okay. 10-4. I said, call in. Are there Somalis committing an exorbitant amount of fraud in Minnesota? Oh my gosh. Does that make me a POS for noticing? Am I noticing too much? A lot of arrests yesterday in Minnesota. The leftists coping and seething. I don't understand why. Isn't this a good thing? If we're stopping the fraud from the programs that you guys say need to be there to help the less fortunate, isn't this a good thing? Why are you so mad? Why? I don't understand. We'll talk more about the fraud on the way. I invited this leftist to call in. We haven't received the call yet, but we'll hope. We'll pray. I like conversations. 615-737-9986. We'll talk more about fraud, and we'll give you some updates on what's happening in L.A. on the way. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on his latest mission to demand more from our NATO partners. He's in Sweden today for a meeting with foreign ministers from around the world. Jillian Turner at Fox News.
And Secretary Rubio is here, as you just mentioned, to meet with all the NATO allies. There's more than 30 foreign ministers here to see him. He has got a very clear, very succinct message to deliver on behalf of President Trump and the United States. It is time for these allies, he says, to pay up and lay up when it comes to the war in Iran. So the morning so far has seen him meet one-on-one with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Right now, Rubio's in a meeting with those 30-some foreign ministers we just mentioned. He wants use of military bases for forward deployment of U.S. troops. One of the things Secretary Rubio spoke about with Mark Rutte is this forward deployment of an additional 5,000 U.S. troops to Poland, something that President Trump announced overnight on Truth Social.
The Trump administration also warning Europe will have to look after its own security, including Ukraine's, in the future. Well, he's been on death row for nearly 30 years now. A Tennessee convict has been given another year to live.
Tony Carruthers, convicted of kidnapping and murdering 3 people in 1994. His executioners tried and failed for over an hour to establish an intravenous line for the lethal drugs. Governor Bill Lee announced Thursday that the state would not try again for at least a year. Tennessee prison officials say medical personnel established a primary IV line, but were unable to find a suitable vein for a backup and a central line as required by the state's execution protocol.
That's ABC's Chuck Sievertson. Here in Nashville, the largest settlement in a spate of so-called sober DUI arrests. A 78-year-old Rutherford man settling for $90,000. That puts to rest a civil lawsuit. Fox 17 reports David Dutton of Murfreesboro was arrested in 2023 for driving drunk, but told officers he's got multiple medical conditions and problems with his neck. And he also has a disabled driver placard in his car. Blood test proved he had no alcohol or drugs in his system. The Pentagon has dropped a new batch of declassified UFO files today. This batch includes over 50 videos and documents featuring an intelligence officer's firsthand account of seeing 2 large orbs chasing fighter jets and infrared footage of instant acceleration by those orbs. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Appreciate you. We got a new podcast dropping tomorrow. Myself, Mandis, Murphy. Listen, I love hanging out with those guys. I think tomorrow's podcast that drops might be the best and the most controversial one we've ever done. Is that a fair assessment? I think
that's pretty accurate.
Mason produces all the podcasts. He does an awesome job.
Shucks.
Well, okay, chill.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna stop giving you compliments. You're gonna shucks me.
Listen, I was
just gets so weird. It just gets weird. Like I know you don't see this if you're not watching on YouTube, but like his cheeks got rosy at the exact same time. Like you started blushing.
Compliments don't come often through this show.
They're gonna come a lot less often if you keep blushing.
Yeah, stop that.
Stop it. Get some help, okay?
Stop it. Get some help.
Thanks, Mike. Sorry.
The big Mike we respect.
That's the one big Mike I like. TB wanted to know, does Dan bring 2 shirts to each podcast? Yes.
Sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3. So have you seen me going back and forth with 3449 on the text line?
Yes.
Okay, so 3449. Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm not a gotcha guy. Like, I don't know if anybody knows this. Like, I like dissenting opinions. I like having conversations, not because I want to get you, but because I want to change your mind. Like, I think that everyone is redeemable, even if you have leftist tendencies. Like, I do. I think that everybody's redeemable. Like, golly, if you saw me in my early teenage years, and then you saw me now, like, thank you, Lord, for the work that you did with me. But so I'm telling this guy, I'm like, call in. He called me a POS. I said, let's call in and have a conversation about the fraud. He said, you're demonizing immigrant communities. You're a propagandist. I said, why don't you want to call in, and why are you so angry? Like, I'm here for conversations. I'm not angry. Let's have a conversation. He said, I'm happy to sit down and buy you drinks and explain why anytime. It's like, okay, dude. Like, first of all, I don't drink. Like, I just don't. And I don't know if you've been paying attention. The leftists are increasingly violent. So
just
like,
a little bit.
So I'm not going to meet up with a strange leftist who calls me a POS. I'm just not. And I'm not even like it would probably be fine. Like I don't necessarily think this guy's going to shoot me, but as a rule of thumb, I'm not going to go sit down with a stranger and have drinks.
Yeah, it's just the smart choice. So
call in. And he said, I'm not getting trapped and controlled on the show. I've done radio. Okay. Trapped with what? Trapped with facts? Trapped with logic? Trapped with reasoning? What are we trapping you with?
You have the ability to turn off your own phone.
Like, what do you mean trapped? So lame. Just so lame.
It's lame, but we appreciate you listening.
We do. Thank you for listening. Hit like and subscribe. Hit dislike if you do, if that's what you want to do.
But only if it's genuine.
It has to be genuine. Tell you what happened that was genuine yesterday. We had a lot of arrests in Minnesota, don't you know? And this is the thing that makes me upset. I'll highlight that the Somali community in Minnesota, these third worlders who come from a terrible nation where this kind of fraud and waste and abuse is normal, right? I'll point out that they come to America and then they continue the same programs. I'll also point out to you that Amy Bach, who has been sentenced to 42 years in federal prison, is a white woman. Because I don't worry about it. I don't care. But it seems to me, at least from my vantage point, that a lot of this fraud is being perpetrated by the Somali community, and then it's being hidden by the Somali community. And you can watch the Nick Shirley video that the mainstream media tried to discredit, and there's a lot of Somalis running these operations. So am I not allowed to notice? Does that make it racist? If it was a lot of Irish people running these operations, is it racist if we said, there was a lot of Italians that were running gambling and protection rackets in New York City back in the day. Is that also racist, or is it just noticing? Are Italians white? Asking for a friend. Some people actually will be like, no way. So, but it's a different conversation for a different day, I would imagine. But if I say there's a lot of fraud happening in Minnesota, and it just so happens to be happening predominantly in the Somali community, that's racist, and I'm a POS, and how dare you? But there are genuinely Somalian kids who need to take advantage of these programs, and these programs are going bankrupt. Who's getting hurt here? Well, you could make the argument that Somali kids in that community that need these programs that are going bankrupt are hurting. If you're a Somali American and your child has autism, but the cost of the Minnesota autism program has gone from $600,000 6 years ago to $400 million today, well, that means nobody has autism and nobody's getting the treatment that they need, and that these programs are 100% being taken advantage of. But if I point that out, I'm an evil racist. I'm a bigot. Okay, make it make sense. And that's exactly what's happening inside Minnesota. Colin McDonald.
So to run taxpayer-funded programs. An autism program that cost the taxpayer $600,000 just 6 years ago skyrocketed to over $400 million. And to be sure, that number is not driven by supply and demand. It is not driven by health care or charity. It is fraud. To tackle this crisis, and it is a crisis in Minnesota, earlier this year, the Department of Justice surged 11 strike force prosecutors from across the country to be here on the ground fighting the rampant fraud.
And we thank them for it. I mean, the fact that they have taken this as serious as they have is an absolute blessing. It's a blessing for so many. You get this fraud under control, and a lot of these programs that could have been headed towards insolvency are now going to be able to last for a lot longer. And our tax dollars aren't going to be stolen and sent back to Somalia. That's a good thing. I don't know. Do I need to explain why that's a good thing? I don't think I should have to. Bobby Kennedy said that the DOJ's $90 million fraud bust in Minnesota yesterday would normally have taken up to a decade to find. This is how fast and how efficient these guys are now working, thanks to the anti-fraud task force that has been set up by President Trump with J.D. Vance at the helm and Assistant Attorney General Colin McDonald.
This is an extraordinary bust today, because these kind of operations usually take many years, sometimes a decade. This was executed with a precision and speed that is unprecedented in the history of law enforcement. And it's unprecedented now, but under Vice President Vance's leadership and President Trump's direction, we are going to normalize this speed. We're restoring accountability, strengthening oversight, prosecuting criminal networks, and protecting the integrity of our public health systems. We will not allow criminals to treat children as billing opportunities while American taxpayers foot the bill. This administration will continue rooting out fraud, because every stolen dollar is a dollar taken from a child, a parent, a senior of a family who desperately needs help.
Amen. And the leftists and their toxic empathy will call us racist and bigots for pointing this out. Make it make sense. I'm still texting with this guy who's a leftist. He said, we're $38 trillion in debt, and you're sitting here telling the public that if we just got rid of the third world, we could fix it. That is a bleeping lie. I was like, I didn't say that would fix our $38 trillion in debt. I said it would help some of these programs before they go insolvent. You're twisting my words. I also said if we got rid of the third world, we could get back to a high-trust society. That, my friend, is accurate. That's true. We were a high-trust society. I posted a commercial, End Wokeness posted this on Twitter the other night, and it's a 1976 commercial for Coca-Cola. And I just wrote the words, remember what they took from us. This is before the rampant immigration abuse that we have seen in this country. We need to get this under control. We have to, or we don't survive as a nation. That's just the reality. We have been the greatest nation on planet Earth for 250 years. 250 years. Do we last another 250 years if we don't keep the fabric of our nation intact? I don't think we do. I think we need an immigration moratorium completely. We need 30 million illegal aliens deported, all of them, up to and including your abuela who makes the best tamales. Sorry. It's just fair. That's the fairest way to do it. Everybody needs to be deported. We need to get the fraud, waste, and abuse under control. Is that going to solve our, he said 38 trillion. It's actually 39. Is that going to solve our $39 trillion debt? Not overnight, but it's a step in the right direction. And everybody knows it. You can continue on with your toxic empathy and act like we are mean-spirited for pointing this stuff out, but I'm sorry, people are noticing. People are noticing. We have a generation that is staring down the barrel of the AI revolution, which could eliminate up to half of the jobs in this country in a little over 10 years. And that's not hyperbole. Like that's the reality, whether you want to admit it or not. Why do we need to keep importing people? Why? Why do we need H-1B visas? Can anybody explain that to me? Why are we prioritizing third worlders over American citizens? Can anybody make that make sense? Now, notice I say American citizens because it doesn't come with a skin color. But I'm racist. It's just, it is insane. It is insane, the levels of just absolute ignorance from people on the left when it comes to issues like this. You're a racist. Do you know who illegal immigration hurts first? The black community. Sorry, it just does. Plain and simple. Do you know who this fraud, waste, and abuse hurts first? Minority communities. Sorry, it just does. And it makes me a racist for not wanting this to continue. Okay. Sure. Make it make sense. I think it's a good thing that we have the anti-fraud task force. I think it's a good thing that we're going after these individuals. And you know what? They can absolutely run, and they will, but I don't think they're going to be able to hide for a long time. There's now a federal search underway for Muhammad Omar. I wonder where Muhammad Omar is from. You see, Muhammad Omar, when the FBI came in and did this bust yesterday, Muhammad Omar jumped out of a fourth-story window. Got to admire the dedication. And then he skipped to his loo on the way out of there, and he hopped in his car and he fled. There's actually a search going on for him right now.
The Department of Justice and U.S. government promising they are coming after the people who defrauded state-run programs in Minnesota backed by federal tax dollars for billions of dollars. This as prosecutors announced indictments of 15 new individuals for fraud. In fact, Christopher Raya, deputy director of the FBI, released video of this new suspect, Muhammad Omar, who he says jumped out of a fourth-story window to escape law enforcement and is currently on the run. Raya,
well, he's currently on the hobble. Okay, let's be perfect. You know, words matter. He's currently on the hobble.
Raya made the point that these are not victimless crimes. They target the most vulnerable demographic. The examples given by prosecutors were autism programs and housing assistance programs that were scammed so badly they shut down. Now the people who need housing assistance and treatment for autistic kids can't get it.
Our cases today involve 7 different state-managed Medicaid programs that have been systematically pilfered by fraudsters who treated Minnesota-run programs as their personal piggy bank.
It's got to end. It's got to end. And we are taking steps in that direction, and God bless the anti-fraud task force for doing so. This is good work, and we should be highlighting it, and we should be celebrating it. All Americans should. Every single one, left and right. They didn't just steal Republican tax dollars. They stole Democrat tax dollars. They stole American tax dollars. And the quicker that those on the left can acknowledge this and acknowledge that if we want these programs to go on, if we want these social safety nets to continue, we need to root out this fraud, waste, and abuse, the quicker we can get back to doing just that. But they'll call us names in the meantime. Remember when the goalposts always move. They said it's not happening. You're a racist. Now they said it is. Okay, well, it is happening, but you're a racist. Tomorrow they'll just shout racist. Okay, 1021 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. They're our veteran-owned, family-run safe and vault door business right here in Middle Tennessee. The vault doors, super cool. Check them out at parkersafes.com. Let's be honest, a lot of us want a safe, but we've been putting it off because we got some questions and we need some answers. Aaron and his sons can help you with all of these. Which one do we buy? Where do we put it? How do we get it installed? Well, let's start with which one to buy. There's a video review of every safe that they have in stock at Parker Safes on their YouTube page. Search Parker Safes on YouTube, find the video review. From there, Aaron and his sons will offer advice on the best place to put it. They'll deliver it, and they'll carefully install it themselves, discreetly and professionally. They have some great deals going on all weekend long. Plenty of safes in stock and ready to go. Not safes built for marketing that can be tipped over by a teenager and pried open. Real safes from quality brands like American Security, Rhino, Heyman, and more. Don't put it off any longer. Call Aaron today. 931-842-6445. It's Parker Safes and Vaults. And if you buy a safe from Parker's, well, you'll get a free pistol safe while supplies last just by mentioning the Chris Hand Show. ParkerSafes.com.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio and what he says about progress in a peace deal with Iran. It's coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 5 minutes here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen on all the apps, the FM dial, YouTube, Rumble's there for you as well. We have video for all the audio that you hear on your radio. My friend Bobby in Nashville has been holding for a minute. Bobby, thank you for holding. He wants to talk about the fraud. What's up, Bob?
Hey, nothing much, brother. I just want to let you know, man, the caller or whoever you've been texting with, I guarantee you it's a Somali. But anyway, the days of people coming over here, I know, and the thousands of other people know for a better life, it's over with. Back in the 20s and 30s and 40s, we had the Germans, the Italians. They came over here for a better way of life. They wanted to work, but it ain't happening no more. But anyway, what really pisses me off, excuse me for saying that, I haven't heard a word about any of that money going to the veterans. Look at the veterans up there in Minnesota that's been suffering. And we got these people coming over here sucking us dry, man, out of everything we got. I'll tell you something else I need to check into. Small business loans. You go down there to get a loan, Al Shabaab's down there with you. Al Shabaab's going to get a better rate than you get, Chris. That's just the way it is. He might not have to pay anything. I've been down there. I've seen it. And another thing, the ones they need to go after in the fraud, and I know, we need to go after Omar, Ellison, and Walsh. Now, what's your take on that, brother?
Yeah, I think we absolutely need to go after Ellison, Walsh, and Omar. Rep Ilhan Omar, though, she has some things to say about that. She actually, yesterday, so when Fox News or conservative reporters go up to Ilhan Omar, she doesn't answer any questions. She runs away because they're obviously evil, racist reporters. But TMZ is now in D.C., and Ilhan Omar was asked about the investigations into her, because J.D. Vance confirmed that they're ongoing from the DOJ. And she was a little bit more quick to answer questions to TMZ because she views them as a more friendly outfit. That's my interpretation. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just luck of the draw here. But I think she was answering these questions from TMZ DC because she thinks they probably lean more her way. So she took the opportunity to explain why she thinks people want to investigate her.
Yeah, that this is just a made-up lie because you do not investigate someone for 10 years and not come up with anything.
So then why do you think it's still being talked about?
Because these people are disgusting. They believe in weird, creepy things, and that's why they want to believe in this weird.
And
that's all I will say.
No, definitely. Why do you think, I guess, that you're being targeted then? It's
because they're racist, they're xenophobic. I just happen to be Muslim, and I don't think you're allowed to continue from there. But,
okay. Understood.
Yeah, I mean, they're just disgusting, bigoted people, and that's all I gotta say.
All right.
No, that's all I gotta say. They're just disgusting and bigoted people. That's it. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, that smile, the smile and the head tilt. Ugh. The Lord said, don't hate. Don't hate. I'm not hating. I'm not going to hate. But I am a little bit infuriated by this kind of stuff. I am a little bit sick of this stuff. You're being investigated because you married your brother. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. This woman hates America. And it's like, guys, what are we doing here? You would have never rose to these ranks that you're in America in Somalia. You should be kissing the ground that you walk on and thanking the Lord for the opportunities that have been afforded to you by the greatness of America. But she doesn't. She tries to tell us how to run this country while she takes advantage of this country. It's disgusting. James Comer says that Rep Ilhan Omar has been caught red-handed. It is James Comer. So you do have to take it with a grain of salt because James Comer says a lot of things. Remember the Biden crime family? So I'll put some salt on what James Comer says. But I do know that the DOJ is actually making progress, and the DOJ is investigating Ilhan Omar. I'll bring you the comments from Comer on Omar when we get back. It's 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Nothing to crow about, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio says there has been some progress in a peace deal with Iran.
There's been some progress. I wouldn't exaggerate it. I wouldn't diminish it. There's more work to be done, but look, yeah, there's been some, and that's a good sign. I'm glad they said that. We're not there yet.
He's speaking from Sweden, where he's been meeting with foreign ministers from around the world this morning. He was also asked whether movement had been made toward fully opening the Strait of Hormuz.
We also have to have a plan B. And plan B is, what if Iran refuses to open the straits? What if Iran decides we refuse to open the straits, we're going to own the straits, and we're going to charge tolls for it? Okay, at that point, something has to be done about it.
Meantime, European Union nations are closer to imposing sanctions on Iran for blocking the strait, calling the blockage contrary to international law. A panel of 3 judges considering the NAACP's request to block the newly approved congressional maps here in Tennessee. Here's Channel 4's Stacey Cameron.
The NAACP and their attorneys who filed the suit say the last-minute changes are already throwing campaigns into chaos, leaving voters unsure where they live, where they vote, and who they're even voting for. One Memphis candidate filed an affidavit saying he now has to scrap months of work after the line shifted mid-race.
Now, the NAACP is asking that 3-judge panel to block the implementation of those maps. No decision so far from the panel. Donald Trump Jr. getting married this weekend. It's his second marriage, this one to Bettina Anderson. But don't expect President Trump to be there for the reception and the cha-cha slide. He told reporters yesterday he may be too busy in the war room and that the media would, quote, kill him if he attends and kill him if he doesn't. The nuptials are overshadowed, too, by Vanessa Trump's announcement this week that she's being treated for breast cancer. Vanessa, of course, is Don Jr.'s ex-wife and the mother of his 5 children. That's the latest news. We've got weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, this is Pastor Allen. Join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
that this is just a made-up lie because you do not investigate someone for 10 years and not come up with anything.
So then why do you think it's still being talked about?
Because these people are disgusting. They believe in weird, creepy things, and that's why they want to believe in this weird.
And
that's all I will say.
No, definitely. Why do you think, I guess, that you're being targeted then? It's
Because they're racist, they're xenophobic. I just happen to be Muslim, and I don't think you're allowed to continue from there. But,
Okay. Understood.
Yeah, I mean, they're just disgusting, bigoted people, and that's all I gotta say.
All right.
That's all she's got to say. Representative Ilhan Omar. Disgusting, racist, bigoted people. It certainly has nothing to do with the allegations of immigration fraud and marrying her brother. Nothing. Certainly has nothing to do with the email chains, with the Feeding Our Futures fraud scandal that she's on with the organizers that she won't release. Has nothing to do with that. It has absolutely nothing to do with the accounting error where she went from being worth $9,000 to $30 million back down to what, like $15,000? To comma. It was commas.
Well, her brother took half in the divorce.
Oh, jeez. Savage. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the winery that didn't actually sell any wine. What you wouldn't want to be called a bigot, would you? You wouldn't want to be called racist, would you? Stop looking into it, these disgusting, bigoted people. That's Ilhan Omar. My name is Chris Hand. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. What does the YouTube chat think of Ilhan Omar's just creepy, weird smile? She did a little head turn and she's smiling. Listen, she is the best. We love her. We love her. Insane. They're investigating me for no reason. There's nothing here. There's guys. It's only because they're racist. It's only because they're bigoted. Obviously.
You have not investigated anything. Here's her. Watch.
House Republicans looking into the net worth of you and your husband. Are you cooperating with that investigation and providing the documents?
Looking into anything. They're just saying those things to get interviews with you guys. There's nothing really happening.
They're saying it's a red flag.
Investigated anything. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't referred me to anybody. He's just saying that so he can get TV interviews because you guys will only talk to them if they say something about me.
Says you haven't investigated anything, Chairman. It's basically all for attention.
Yeah, she's delusional and she knows better. She's trying to say she made a mistake on her financial disclosure form. No one makes a $30 million mistake on your financial disclosure form, especially if you don't have any assets. You know, if you're Donald Trump or some very wealthy person, 30 million might be a rounding error. But for someone who alleges now she has nothing, that's a pretty big rounding error. And it all stems around two basic things, the problem she has. First of all, she asked for an earmark for a project that was later proven to be a fraudulent project that was involved in that Somali scam up there. And then secondly, she claimed her assets were huge because of this winery that we know has been shut down that, according to rumors and press reports, was defrauding investors.
Yeah, there was actually no wine being sold. Also, aren't Muslims not allowed to drink? Right? Wouldn't that be against the code? I thought that was against the code. I'm not an expert on the Quran, but I thought I was under the impression Muslims weren't allowed to drink. Wouldn't owning a winery go against that whole thing? Maybe. I don't know. I think there's absolutely reasons to investigate Ilhan Omar. When the rumors don't go away, it's because they're probably true. And these fraud allegations need to be investigated. She was on email chains with individuals from the Feeding Our Future fraud scandal. Amy Bach, the mastermind behind it, said Waltz, Ellison, Omar, she would be stunned if they didn't know anything about the fraud. I think they knew about the fraud, and I think they turned a blind eye. Colin McDonald, the Assistant Attorney General, focusing entirely on fraud, was on Laura Ingram's show last night, and he says that it would be stunning if they didn't know anything about this. And meanwhile, Tim Waltz, he's taking credit for the fraud raids. Of course he is.
It's very obvious to any honest broker that this type of fraud escalating in Minnesota could have only happened if the people responsible for doling out the money were willfully blind to the conduct that was ongoing in Minnesota. That's obvious to anyone who looks at this with a clean slate. What I would say is this, that if Minnesota is interested in cooperating with us, then they should open their books all of these programs. Yeah. Open the books and allow us to have access to the documentary evidence that we need to prove these offenses. They've not done that. One example is the SNAP program funded by USDA, millions and millions of dollars. We've asked them for those records. They're suing us to prevent us from accessing those records.
I mean, it's crazy. There's nothing to see here. Also, here's a lawsuit because we don't want you to look here. There's so much fraud going on in the state of Minnesota, it's hard to keep up. Autism, SNAP, welfare, housing, Medicaid, Medicare, daycares, you name it. It's crazy. Ilhan Omar is being investigated. We had J.D. Vance confirm that the other day while he was filling in for Caroline Levitt, which is funny because it was just a few months, last month in April, Ilhan Omar was on the Breakfast Club. It was a friendly interview with Charlemagne and DJ Envy. He's actually a pretty good DJ, I'm not going to lie. Credit where credit's due. Got to give these guys some flowers. Talented broadcasters, but this is a national show. They are on in all of the largest markets, massive reach. It can't be understated. But she's on with these guys, doing her best. Oh, me, oh, my. All these racists are coming after me. And Ilhan Omar, she had this to say.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I listen, suggest all you want. Please investigate all you want.
All right. I'll take that deal. Please investigate all you want. Would you make that deal? I don't know if Ilhan Omar wants to make that deal, but I'd make that deal.
I'll make that deal. How about you, you bitch? You make that deal? I'd make that deal. I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
Please investigate all you want, right? Like, to me, I'm not like I'm above the law and how dare you, like I understand politics.
Do you?
I understand what these people have to do in order to like feed their base.
Oh, yeah. I understand politics. I understand what they have to do. I understand. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just keep investigating then. That's pretty cool. I'm down with that. I feel more confident today than I've ever felt before that we are going to see some fruit from these investigations. It doesn't look like these guys are playing any games at all. And Dr. Oz, he's one of the main driving forces behind it. He was talking about the Medicaid fraud, the Medicare fraud, and related programs. And he was bringing, I think this was actually a very, very smart move by the administration because they sent Dr. Oz to CNN to do this. And everybody knows Dr. Oz from TV. All the CNN viewers have liked Dr. Oz for years. I think this was strategic. And Dr. Oz went there to make the case that President Trump intends to save $100 billion in your taxpayer dollars from fraud in Medicaid and related programs. Everybody talks about the Republicans cutting. Oh, they're cutting billions of dollars from Medicaid and Medicare. How could they do this? And it's like, yeah, but maybe that happens, but we're also going to be saving hundreds of billions in fraud.
Jake, I took this job. President offered it to me because he knows I love Medicaid. It is the ultimate payer of last resort. It helps people with nothing else that can help them. Medicare takes care of our senior citizens in an elegant, beautiful way. It's a crown jewel of our system. We can save these programs. There's about $100 billion of money stolen from them. A lot of this by foreign governments, potentially, definitely foreign, international crime syndicates. So we can get our arms around this. We took our eye off the ball. COVID convinced a lot of people they could defraud the federal government, especially in healthcare, which is probably 50% of the fraud, and get away with it. If we send a clear message, we're not tolerating it anymore, they go away. Look what happened to hospice care in California. And, this is a program where 1/3 of all of the hospice in the country is in LA. 1/3. So we have already gone after 850 of these hospices, stopped paying them. Some have come back, a few, to say we were wrong. The vast majority just ran away. So we can win this battle, but we got to do it together. Part of the reason I came to Minnesota is to send the message to the people here. We care about you. We'll do this together, but it has to be done together in unison.
Amen. Dr. Oz is the perfect guy to get that message across, especially to your average CNN viewer. I don't think anybody looks at Dr. Oz as a bigoted, racist, evil conservative because of his years that he spent on TV. So I do think that was a strategic move, and I think it was the right move. J.D. Vance also put out a video yesterday talking about the fraud in Minnesota. He is the fraud czar. All hail the fraud czar. And Vance says what we're seeing in Minnesota 100% vindicates Nick Shirley, as $90 million in fraud has been raided in Minnesota, and more is coming. It's about a 3-minute video, but I do think it's important on this topic, so I'm going to play the whole thing.
Just like all of you, I was shocked last December when I watched Nick Shirley's bombshell investigation of migrant fraud in Minnesota, which called attention to the now infamous Quality Learning Center instead of learning and other schemes across that state. This morning, the ringleader of the $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scheme in Minnesota was sentenced in federal court to over 40 years in prison, bringing justice to the countless school children and families she had scammed. And on top of that, today, federal law enforcement launched a massive raid in Minneapolis. Across the city, agents have arrested 15 people for suspected fraud that amounted to $90 million. This includes 2 of the largest Medicaid fraud cases in Minnesota history, as well as the largest autism fraud scheme ever charged by the U.S. federal government. With this action, we're bringing justice to some of America's most vulnerable citizens and justice to the American taxpayer. In 2018, Minnesota tried to provide housing services for the homeless. They estimated that the cost of the program would be $2.5 million a year. By 2024, the program had exploded to $104 million annually, and almost all of it was because of fraud. As a result, the state had to shut down the program and can no longer provide those services to Americans in need. So we've got homeless veterans sleeping on the streets because fraudsters got rich. But it's not just the homeless who are the victims of these fraudsters. The victims in the cases announced by DOJ today also include disabled Americans who rely on community support to live full, independent lives, and citizens for whom defrauding such programs is literally a matter of life and death. In one of the most horrifying cases charged today, a recipient who needed 24-hour care was supposed to be receiving exactly that through a Minnesota Medicaid benefit program. But he received nothing.
Weird.
No care, no services, nothing for months on end. And then he went quiet. For 2 days, a neighbor tried to check on him, knocking on his apartment door. Nothing. Shortly after, he was found dead. One day before this man died, the fraudster in question had tried to bill for the non-existent services, the services that if they had been provided, this man might actually be with us today. To get rich off taxpayers, even at the cost of others' lives, just as that fraudster had for many months before. This kind of behavior is sickening. It's disgusting. It's an affront to all of us as Americans. And today we're saying clearly, no more. Our message is simple. If you are committing fraud, our task force will find you. We'll come after you, and we will not rest until justice is served. Don't defraud the American taxpayer. Don't get rich by trying to steal from them, or we are going to come after you until justice is served. That's our promise, and we're going to stick to it.
That's J.D. Vance, the fraud czar, and I think the message was absolutely delivered yesterday in Minnesota, loud and clear. On the way, we got a lot of updates when it comes to the city of Los Angeles. A lot of Angelinos really starting to like Spencer Pratt. Not a shock. Not a shock at all. We'll bring you some of the updates. Did you know that Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, wants to give away free teeth for meth addicts? You talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. I think that this one would qualify under the waste and abuse of that. Angelinos are fed up with the way their city has been trending over the last decade, and rightfully so. A lot of people are wanting somebody with common sense, and it looks like Spencer Pratt is that guy. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Marco Rubio weighing in on the war with Iran. Also, pushback on the president's lawsuit settlement with the IRS. We'll have that and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. Ken Weaver's off. He's doing a vacation. He's on a big woodpecker hunt, I heard.
Actually, he's headed to Charlotte in anticipation of his daughter's wedding.
I think that might be fake news. I thought it was a big woodpecker hunt.
Yeah, maybe he was.
Lying. The wedding is the cover story. Everybody knows it. They got he has his brick and arrow, and he's going to be good to go. If you know, you know. Hey, do you know how bad Los Angeles is? Do you have any idea how bad Los Angeles is?
Just a little bit.
I think everybody's like sort of aware, but it's way worse than you think. And if you ever want to have a little bit of fun and feel really good about where you live, you should watch local Los Angeles news.
Ooh.
Because on any given night, you'll be like, man, we're doing pretty good here in Tennessee. Because a couple nights ago, I was watching LA's Live News Tonight, where all the news happens. It's Action News LA.
Gross.
Dude, you can't make this stuff up. There's a new warning for Angelenos when it comes to illegal aliens.
Tonight, police are urging homeowners to search around their yards, in the bushes for hidden cameras placed there by burglars.
This is becoming a bigger problem daily as thieves go high-tech. Fox 11's Ed Lascos live in San Dimas, where one of those concealed surveillance devices was found hidden in the bushes. Ed.
And before we go to Ed, yes, you heard correctly. The news is warning about burglars placing hidden cameras in your bushes and in your flower beds so that way they can track you coming and going. Now, they say burglars. When they say burglars, they mean illegal alien street gangs.
Yeah, Laura, high-tech, big time as the neighborhood here is reeling after they find not one, but two of these cameras hidden deep in the bushes after a home break-in here just a couple of days ago. Let's get to it. To the video we go. The LA County Sheriff's Department out with these pictures of these cameras spotted and found by a gardener. Then the deputies move in, but not before that home is hit. One of the cameras across the street aimed at that target, the home they're going to hit. Another camera down the block showing their escape route, their getaway route, watching that. And luckily, though, in this case, the homeowners are inside. They're able to scare away the burglars. They run away so fast in broad daylight, they drop one of their hand radios, their walkie-talkies, using that to communicate with the driver of the getaway vehicle. And we know they used a jammer to shut down the Wi-Fi, so there's no security video from all the security cameras. But it's the other cameras, the hidden cameras, two of them, that blended in the bushes. No one knew they were there.
Crazy, right? Crazy. You want to know how bad leadership is? Karen Bass is not going to do anything about the illegal alien burglars with their hidden cameras, but she does have a plan for the illegal aliens, something that she thinks is worth exploring.
Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez, who has endorsed you, he wants to explore ways to let non-citizens vote in city elections. I know that there are some cities that already do this, but politics is all about timing. With Donald Trump in the White House, is this the right time for Los Angeles to go down this path?
Well, I think we need to explore it. Now,
You wonder why Spencer Pratt is surging? It's because the local news is telling you sort of what's happening, and the leadership there is going in the exact opposite direction. Instead of getting illegal aliens out, we actually need to give illegal aliens more power and more authority in these communities. Absolutely insane. I got some more audio from Spencer Pratt when we get back. He's getting a lot of donors, and he's got a lot of things to say. It's not a shock why people like Spencer Pratt when you just pay attention to what's happening in L.A. We'll bring you that when we get back. It's 11:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Two minutes past 11 a.m. Hi, I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A somewhat wet forecast coming up in a few minutes. In Sweden, with foreign ministers of NATO countries, Secretary of State Marco Rubio today asked whether movement had been made toward fully opening the Strait of Hormuz.
We also have to have a plan B. And plan B is, what if Iran refuses to open the straits? What if Iran decides we refuse to open the straits, we're going to own the straits, and we're going to charge tolls for it? Okay, at that point, something has to be done about it.
Back here in the U.S., some Republican lawmakers pushing back against President Trump's controversial $1.8 billion fund. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce with more.
Republicans are demanding answers and refusing to approve more funding for the president's immigration crackdown until they get them. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche scrambling to the Hill. For over 2 hours, Blanche getting an earful, Republicans yelling at him. Some of the president's most ardent supporters telling the acting attorney general that the president's fund will cost them the majority in the upcoming midterms.
Back in Nebraska, officials today providing an update on the cruise ship passengers that were quarantined at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha following a hantavirus outbreak. Here's Governor Jim Pillen. Everyone in the unit is said to be doing well with no concerning symptoms reported by anyone.
We're now at 18. We have a total of 20 rooms. 18 of the 20 rooms are full. And I think that if anybody talks a little bit about the Ebola virus, there's a reason why when in this facility, whenever the day comes that the guests go home, this facility will be wide open for Ebola.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on all the social media platforms that matter. I'm on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, TikTok, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. I don't really do TikTok as much anymore. I tried to do it. I gave it the old college try, but I never got into it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's really Instagram and Twitter. By the way, remember yesterday you sent me that video of the bear in the house.
Yeah.
It was like, what would you do? And I'm like, I would shoot the bear.
Shoot the bear.
You want to know how soft this country is?
Uh-oh.
I was just you sent me another one. You sent me another reel. I'm
Yeah.
always checking my Instagram during the commercial breaks. I do. I really like. I'm a sucker for the gram.
Yeah, why not?
So you sent me a new one and whatever. That one was okay. Like I wasn't. But here's what angered me. The one from yesterday where that guy saw a bear in his house and shot the bear now has like the little sensitive content warning.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Like, what? Who is sensitive to this?
Oh no, animal that broke into a house got shot.
This video contains content that some people might find upsetting. Why? Because a bear broke into the house and the dude smoked the bear? Smokey the bear? Is that why? It's like,
probably.
We used to be pretty cool. I don't know what's happened to us. Like, I get some of the sensitive content warnings. I do. I follow most of those pages.
Yeah, I went to show my buddy that video, and I saw the sensitive content warning yesterday, and I was like, wait, what did I send Chris? I thought this was the bear video. It was just that.
Yeah, that's what I did. The exact same thing. I was like, wait, what is this? That's not really your style.
No.
Mason doesn't. It's my style.
Chris will. Yeah.
I send some sense. Sometimes I put my own sensitive content warning on the stuff I send. It just adds up.
He is, no joke. Just heads up. This one's a rough one.
This one's a rough one. I don't know. I'm sending it to you. It might be for show prep, but it just a heads up.
It's there.
But like the guy, he came downstairs, and it's not even like it's like a black and white video.
Yeah, it's not even like full color. Like you could see everything.
No. And the bear, it was a good shot. You could turn that thing into a rug moving forward.
Oh, for sure.
It's not like the cranial structure was compromised or anything like that.
I've heard bear meat's pretty good.
Dude, I've had bear meat.
Really?
Yeah, not a fan. But it was one of those things like you had to do it.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is a hunter, like a big-time hunter.
Mm.
And we were at this was when my wife and I were dating, and we raided his freezer, me and my buddy, and we just started pulling stuff out, and we were like, all right, let's do bear. That sounds fun. And yeah, I mean, it's worth saying that we did it. That's pretty much it.
How'd you prepare it though?
Awfully. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yep, microwave.
No.
Yeah, bear's awful. I threw it in the microwave for 2 minutes.
I nuked that thing for 30 seconds, and I'll tell you what, not a fan. Somebody said that you got to do it in like chili if you're going to do bear meat.
Okay.
I'm like, so you have to hide the taste of it with everything else? And they're like, pretty much. Like that tracks.
Bear steaks.
Bear tracks. Yeah, I saw that.
I like goose tracks.
I'm like, dude, what is this? Why is it sensitive? Right? Am I wrong for thinking that?
Oh, for sure.
If you want to see the sensitive video, hit me up on the gram. I'll send it to you. This guy, he just walks downstairs.
With his professional flashlight.
I think maybe he was looking for an illegal alien that may or may not have snuck a hidden camera in his flower bushes. All he found was a bear. What would you rather confront?
Which would you rather confront in the woods, a man or a bear?
No, but if somebody was breaking into your house, would you rather it be a bear or a man?
A bear, because I know the intentions of the bear.
Yeah, I think I would do the bear.
Yeah.
I think I would take the bear. Especially if I was armed to the teeth like this guy was.
Yeah.
He just unloaded on that bear.
I mean, to be fair, a burglar breaks into my house, probably same outcome.
I might get a little excited if a burglar breaks into my house.
Oh.
You've seen those videos?
Yeah.
Where it's like the alarm goes off and the guy just like wakes up with a huge smile. He's like, I've been waiting for this. Sorry, that's not for everybody, but some people be like that. They do. All right, we were talking about Karen Bass. There are illegal aliens hiding hidden cameras in Los Angeles and flower bushes to track homeowners. And she's like, I got an answer for that. Let's let them vote.
Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez, who has endorsed you, he wants to explore ways to let non-citizens vote in city elections. I know that there are some cities that already do this, but politics is all about timing. With Donald Trump in the White House, Is this the right time for Los Angeles to go down this path?
Well, I think we need to explore it. Now, I've not seen exactly what he's calling for. I have a little familiarity of what happens in other cities, and
yeah, they go to hell in a handbasket. I guess you don't have to worry about that if you're the mayor of Los Angeles, since you've already crossed that threshold. Is it a shock to anybody that Spencer Pratt is completely out fundraising not only Karen Bass but Nithya Raman as well?
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has a hold with local chambers of commerce and labor groups, but Spencer Pratt has seen some big-name donations come his way lately, and he's even outraised Bass so far this year. From January 1st to April 18th, Bass has so far taken in just under $500,000 from contributors, but that's behind Pratt's nearly $540,000 in donations that he's taken in. And Pratt's popularity is climbing in the polls with the ultra-rich. Look at some of these recent donors. Jeffrey Sprecher, the CEO of the Intercontinental Exchange, Jeannie Buss, the governor of the Lakers, Sean Rad.
It's the owner of the Lakers. They say governor now because the term owner is so racist. So dumb. This is just, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but you own the team. You don't own the people. The people work for you. You pay them. But oh golly, let's call it a governor. Let's call it a governor, guys. We wouldn't want to hurt these millionaire basketball players' feelings. It's just ridiculous. I get spiraled off on this stuff. We can't. Whoa. What do you mean, owner? Whoa, bud, chill out with the racism, dog. Chill, Yes, no, she doesn't own the people. It's what? Obviously. Fun fact, they also called them the owner when the league was entirely white, by the way. Weird. Was it racist then? Was anybody like, whoa, dude? Whoa. Chill, bro. Chill. My guy. Whoa. We can't be doing that.
Obviously.
Right? Am I wrong? Is that just the dumbest thing ever? This is how soft we've become as a nation. Whoa. There's obviously some racist tendencies in the league. We can't call them owners. We need to call them governors. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. Don't want to be called racist. Okay.
Jeffrey Sprecher, the CEO of the Intercontinental Exchange, Jeannie Buss, the governor of the Lakers, Sean Rad, the founder of Tinder, the dating app, Jamie Siminoff, the founder of Ring, the security system, Lucien Grange, the CEO of Universal Music, and his son Elliot Grange, the CEO of Atlantic Records.
Everybody's lining up to support Spencer Pratt. Everybody. And I think it's important to point out, these donations were found out via public records, and they're not making huge, big, grand endorsements of Spencer Pratt. But everybody understands we need to get back to reality here in Los Angeles if we want the city to continue to be profitable. And I do think that there's some stuff that we need to pay attention to here in Nashville as we're seeing small local businesses forced out because of high taxes while downtown continues to get worse and worse and worse. And it just smells like pee. There's homeless people littered all over the streets. I don't want to take my kids to a Predators game on a Saturday night because of it. And then we're supposed to just clap like seals because we get the Super Bowl. Woo, we did it. It's like we're going down the same path. We are. We need to get some common sense leadership back in Nashville if we want to save this city.
Do you think they'll clean up the city for the Super Bowl like they cleaned up L.A. for leader of China?
Probably. But, for how long?
Yeah, it'll be trashed by everybody who comes.
It's just, and nobody's going to have fun at the Super Bowl.
No.
But, I mean, all of these billionaires are lining up because they see failure. And Karen Bass has the stench of failure. Los Angeles has the stench of failure. And the problems that persist today are still problems that she promised to fix. 2023, she's sitting down with Jake Tapper, and she says, we got a plan for homelessness.
What's your goal by the end of your first term in 2026? And what lessons do you think other cities can learn from what you've done?
Well, my goal would be really to end street homelessness.
So that was her goal. End street homelessness by 2026. What lessons can other people learn? I think we're going to learn a lot more from your missteps than from your victories. I would have a hard time charting your victories. She sat down with CNN for another interview just last week. And on this interview with CNN, they brought up that big goal, that big goal of ending street homelessness by 2026. I don't know if you knew this, but it's actually gotten worse.
When you talked to Jake Tapper in 2023, you said that your goal was to end street homelessness in LA by 2026. It's now 2026.
And we haven't ended it.
We have not ended it, and we're not close to ending it. How are you so off?
Well, basically, when I said that, it was at the beginning of my term. I am very committed to achieving that goal. I didn't anticipate some of the bureaucratic barriers that I would experience.
How could she have known the bureaucratic barriers after spending all those years in local government in LA before this? Who could have predicted this? It's like, how could I have known that if there wasn't water in the fire hydrants, they would have been able to put out the fires? These are things that we didn't know. Insane. President Trump was asked about Spencer Pratt, and Trump is he's a Spencer Pratt guy, which it doesn't shock me, to be perfectly honest with you. If you pay attention on the gram, you'll see Caroline Levitt liking Spencer Pratt videos. It was funny. Me and my wife were sitting there. We're like, you know, she's probably like, did you see the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air one that he did?
Yeah.
It was great. We can't play it on stream because we'll get dinged and we'll get removed. And then I'll get an angry email from corporate because Mason will obviously post it on Spotify anyway. So we won't do it. What?
It was one time.
And we'll never forget it. Anyway, we were laughing, though, because we're like Caroline Levitt's probably sitting there, you know, hanging out with her newborn, just cruising the gram while she's nursing the baby. And then she's like, this is hilarious. Like, because I don't know. We've had a lot of kids. That's exactly what you do during the nursing. You're just cruising the gram. So it doesn't shock me that President Trump likes him, but he was asked about Spencer Pratt.
Spencer Pratt, do you see yourself in him at all? A former reality TV star?
No, I'd like to see him do well. He's a character. I don't know him. I assume he probably supports me. Does he support me?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. I heard he does. I heard he's a big MAGA person.
I don't think he's a big MAGA guy. I think he's a big common sense guy. Now, this has really angered a lot of people in Los Angeles that Donald Trump is going to support him, or that he would work with Donald Trump. I saw an article here. Gustavo Areño. Gustavo wrote an article for the LA Times. You ready for it? Spencer Pratt's Make LA Great Again acolytes and their dark vision of the city. What? Oh. Can you believe how dark he wants to make LA? He wants to rid the poop in the streets and not let people shoot up across the streets from schools. Listen to this. So just listen. Just listen. Let me read you the first couple paragraphs. If anyone needs the axiom, tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. Whisper to them every morning as a reminder to do better. It's Spencer Pratt. Can someone do that ASAP, por favor? Instead of holding events around Los Angeles to convince skeptics that his mayoral campaign is for everyone, the former reality television bad boy has bunkered himself inside an echo chamber of sycophants, friendly broadcasters, and milquetoast media outlets. Never mind all the CEOs that we just played you and the governor of the Los Angeles Lakers who support Spencer Pratt via donations. But he says, instead of offering an on-ramp to join his pissed-off posse, he calls Mayor Karen Bass basura trash. And her supporters, bass holes. Nice. And the insults that his followers share and like on social media by the thousands. Instead of enlisting surrogates to push an uplifting vision of LA's future, Pratt elevates those who speak of the city as a West Coast Chernobyl. Like, are we serious here? Are we serious? You want to know something fun? The same guy that wrote this also wrote an article. If you're watching on Supertalk TV, Gustavo Areño is a celebrated writer for the LA Times. He also wrote an article titled "How I Learned to Stop Worrying About Non-Citizens Voting in LA Elections." Yep. So, what did he say? What did he say in the last article? It says, "Tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are." Weird. Oh, okay. Got it. Spencer Pratt, though, he's not going full MAGA. He's going full common sense. And he's like, guys, I'm here for everybody. I'm here for everybody except for lunatics, socialists, and communists.
The gays are with me. I have the entire gay vote, period. So I think she missed her, everyone's missing who's voting for me. The only people that aren't are the socialists, the lunatics, and the communists. But any normal functioning brain that doesn't want to step in human poop when they get their matcha is voting for me, which is a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
You said most of you probably never heard of Chelsea Handler, so here's an introduction.
Yeah, so if you have a brain and you're in Los Angeles, you're going to be voting for Spencer Pratt. And I would imagine that I think he could run away with this thing. Like, I really do. I think that, he's going to win it very, very easily at this point, because I think that there's a real silent majority aspect to this that people are missing in Los Angeles, where you might not say you're voting for Spencer Pratt, but once you get in that voting booth and it's just you and the voting booth, I think you're pushing that button. It's 11:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if your home is not as comfortable as it needs to be right now, it's the perfect time to call Busy Bee, because they have some strong offers happening today. Right now, you can get special financing on a new HVAC system with up to 12 months, no payments, no interest, no prepayment penalties either. And it'll give you some breathing room as you head into the summer. And here's the bonus. If you install a high-efficiency system, 17 SEER or higher, they'll throw in a free Yeti Tundra 45 cooler. Not a bad deal at all. Now, if you're good on the AC, but you want to take the air quality up a notch, Busy Bee can help you there too. Check out their Healthy Hive package. It includes electronic air cleaner, a whole home UV system, normally running you about $2,800. Today, you can get it for $22.99 installed, good to go. And they'll even handle the TVA rebates for you, so you can save some more money on top of the deals that they're offering, like $800 back on mini splits, $500 to $800 on heat pumps, even $50 back on that AC tune-up to make sure your AC is running at maximum efficiency all summer long. Again, you don't have to do anything on the TVA rebates. Busy Bee will do it for you. You just sit back, enjoy the cool air, pump it out of your vents, and save some money. Now, if you got plumbing issues, they got deals there too. $300 off whole home drain repipes, $500 off water distribution repipes. So whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, Busy Bee always has you covered. 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
A Tennessee execution called off. We'll have a report. And new economic numbers have been released. Are they good? Are they bad? Well, we'll let you decide. That's coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. I'm reading the text line. I didn't mean to go off when I was playing this news clip about who's donating to Spencer Pratt, because they called Jeannie Buss the governor of the Lakers.
30 is climbing in the polls with the ultra rich. Look at some of these recent donors. Jeffrey Sprecher, the CEO of the Intercontinental Exchange. Jeannie Buss, the governor of the Lakers.
The governor, not the owner. That's racist. Even though they were called the owner back when the league was still segregated, right? So it was all white players. You were still the owner. How dare you? But a bunch of people on the text line, I love it. 6436. Have you heard what they're calling the master bedroom in homes now? I have. It's the primary bedroom, you bigot. What are you doing? It's the primary bedroom. We also got a few texts. Scott, Tim, a couple other guys too, said, wouldn't CEO be racist against the Indians? It's the chief executive officer. Whoa. It is. That is so racist. Do you have any idea? We're on stolen land, bigots. Acknowledge it.
I was about to say, if you're not acknowledging every time we start our show from now on, I quit.
Acknowledge this. I can't believe you think you can get away with this kind of racism. There's actually people out there that like cope and seethe over this. Could you imagine living your life and getting angry about this kind of stuff? People do. People do. It's crazy. It's 11:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 11:31 now. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. The forecast for that Memorial Day weekend coming up. A Tennessee execution called off yesterday after medical personnel were not able to establish a required backup IV line during more than an hour of attempts, leading to a one-year reprieve from Governor Lee for Tony Carruthers. Channel 4's Steve Milling has more.
A one-year reprieve for Tony Carruthers from Governor Bill Lee's office after his attorney says that he suffered for over an hour during what she characterized as a botched execution attempt. A death sentence that hung in the balance of witness statements and no physical evidence, now given new life after a botched execution has given Tony Carruthers a one-year reprieve. Maria Deliberato, Carruthers' attorney from the ACLU, was inside the execution chamber. She describes doctors poking Carruthers in the hands, the feet, the chest, trying to find a backup line, which is required by state protocol.
They were trying to find a vein in his feet. They turned the lights down. They had a vein finder. The doctor asked, does anybody on the team have expertise in jugular access?
The Deliberato says with the year reprieve, they will continue to fight for DNA evidence to be tested and for Carruthers to be found innocent.
The next state execution is scheduled for later this summer. There's no word on whether the state will reevaluate its protocol for lethal injections before then. Even in the face of inflation and the uncertainty of the war with Iran, the path forward looking pretty positive. ABC's Jim Ryan says that's the upshot of one batch of numbers that have been released today.
The Conference Board's leading economic index, which looks ahead about 7 months, rose in April. The increase followed a March in which the LEI fell 0.6%, and the gain was only 0.1%. But economists were expecting another drop. Conference Board analysts credit a rebound in the stock market and an increase in building permits for the April rise.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hann. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I forgot how trash Republicans are being, and I haven't been able to rant about their extended vacation. They're not getting a long weekend. They're getting a long week and a half. We'll talk about that. We're going to jump into the lightning round right now.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Maybe I spent too much time going off about the term governor versus owner. No, I feel like I spent just the right amount of time doing that. I did get one more text about it too.
No!
I did. People be texting.
People be texting.
They said we're going to have to change the name of the Masters tournament soon. Oh, so dark, so evil.
The collective of people hitting balls tournament.
Yeah. But you can't call it that.
It just rolls off the tongue.
So racist. I would be more adamant about that if I thought people were supposed to be watching golf on TV. I think it's the worst sport to watch.
Yeah.
So boring, dude. So boring. I can't do it.
Watching golf and baseball on TV, I feel like, is boring.
Fight me on baseball.
Baseball is better live or playing it, though. I don't think watching it on TV is as fun as it is live.
It's the only sport that teaches patience. It's the only one. Now, I'm also an advocate for letting them use steroids. So, there's a yin and a yang to it. I get it. All right, first story in the lightning round. How do you feel that lightning strike was? I thought it was a hair delayed.
Sorry, I gotta start juicing up so I can react quicker.
You got it. Let's get Mason some steroids.
I know I get.
Okay, good. All right, good. We're learning things. A $72 billion reconciliation bill that would have dramatically increased funding for ICE and Customs and Border Patrol stalled yesterday after a fierce division among Republicans. The vote reportedly had been planned for Thursday evening, but the Senate adjourned for recess. They're not coming back until June 1st. I can't with these guys. John Thune is trash as the Senate Majority Leader. So the divide really didn't have much to do with the reconciliation bill. The divide had to do with the nearly $1.8 billion, 1.776 if you're keeping score at home, reserve that would provide compensation to people deemed to be wronged by the Justice Department under Joe Biden. We're talking about the J6ers that were escorted inside the Capitol building by police. The J6ers that stayed inside the velvet ropes. The grandmothers that prayed in there. Those dastardly memas praying. Not the ones that were fighting cops or causing chaos. But even J.D. Vance said that would be deemed on a case-by-case basis if you were wronged or if you did the wronging. But in a press conference Thursday, Chuck Schumer said that the Republicans were so divided, so dysfunctional, and so disorganized that they fled Washington. Okay. I'm here to point out that while I am pissed at Senate Republicans, and they are trash, let's just be perfectly honest, all of them, key GOP members who opposed the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, well, those key GOP members include Bill Cassidy out of Louisiana, who is out thanks to the primary challenge and the endorsement of his opponent by Donald Trump. He strongly criticized the fund. And then the other big name there is Senator Tom Tillis, Mr. Dog Parade himself, Tom Tillis, who's not running for re-election. So the disorganization, the dysfunction, the disagreements coming from rhinos that voted to impeach Donald Trump. Got it. We have an issue with people that oppose the Donald Trump agenda in the Senate on our side. And that is slowly but surely being dealt with. But there are several GOP senators opposing adding this fund to the $72 billion reconciliation bill for ICE and CBP funding, which has contributed to the bill stalling, which means it's not going to hit the deadline, which is bovine scatology. They've had a month and a half to deal with this. The opposition was significant enough to derail the planned vote before the Senate recess. Cassidy and Tillis are the most prominently named in the reporting. So the Senate's going home till June. It's going home.
Lazy.
Dude, like, what are we doing? Make them work.
Be better.
Like, seriously. You say no recess. We're going to stay here until we get this done. Like, why do we act like we're in the minority when we're supposed to be in the majority? And you have Democrats out there that say the moment that they get their hands on power, they're going to nuke the filibuster. D.C. and Puerto Rico are going to be states. The Supreme Court is going to be packed. Amnesty is going to be on the table for 30 million illegal aliens. But we can't even handle a funding bill? We can't?
Just get in there today.
Like, seriously.
Today, Junior?
That's the only reason you said that?
That's the only reason I said today.
Listen, I think you deserve some flowers for that.
Thanks.
You got to work it in. Got to work it in. Senate got sent home by Leader John Thune. People are saying that the MAGA coalition of the base is furious.
Biggest congressional rebuke of President Trump's second term.
I just don't know how this puppy dog will work. I think there were 6 or 7 people who were going to vote no.
Republicans were on the verge of finally ending the ICE and Border Patrol funding impasse.
The sole reason we are here today is because Democrats refuse to fund law enforcement at the Department of Homeland Security.
But the president's $1.8 billion compensation fund killed the bill.
So that's where we're at.
There are a lot of questions about it. I have Republican colleagues who have concerns about who can receive funding from that fund.
A meeting between Senate Republicans and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche failed to convince lawmakers to oppose bipartisan amendments curbing the fund.
This is about a profoundly corrupt plan by the president, and I think my Republican colleagues have reached their limit.
Okay. I mean, that's a Democrat from Vermont, so into the trash your opinion goes. But why are we still doing this, these funding fights? They're saying it's about the slush fund. I do believe a lot of it has to do with the ICE funding. We do understand that $170 billion plus was set aside for 4 years through fiscal year 2029 for border security. But the funding conversation continues for ICE and CBP because of regular fiscal year 2026 appropriations. And the Democrats don't want anything. The new reconciliation push, Senate Republicans advanced a $70 to $72 billion supplemental package via budget reconciliation for additional ICE CBP resources through 2029, but it's now hitting internal snags because of this slush fund. The delay does stem from GOP internal disagreements, but you could say that it's conservatives versus rhinos. It's not a lack of prior funding, and that's kind of where we're at right now. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, but did anybody expect Senate Republicans to actually do work? Of course not. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. So we're leaning into the.
I almost deleted the lightning round sound.
You almost deleted it?
I hit the wrong button and went, hold on. I had to take a second, and then I fixed it. We're good. It's there.
All right.
It almost ran away.
I'd say I'm disappointed, but I'm not. I'm just used to it. I know. All right, next story in the lightning round. I don't know if this should stun me, and I don't know if this is even really a big story, but Hollywood's doing another race swap from an iconic character. You ready for this? Ryan Gosling is going to play Barack Obama. No, I'm sorry. Barack
Obama's going to play Ryan Gosling.
There it is. It never goes the other way. No, it's Betty Boop. There's going to be a live-action Betty Boop movie.
Oh, interesting.
And Abbott Elementary creator Quinta Brunson is going to play Betty Boop, and she's black, so people are talking about it because Betty Boop was white. I don't know if this one makes a big deal. But it's I don't think anybody would see a Betty Boop movie anyway.
Probably not.
Betty Boop,
niche audience.
Betty Boop got famous in the 30s.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of people know about her, but
I mean, it's 1930 it debuted.
Yeah.
So it's almost 100 years old. She hasn't really stood the test of time. But they're race swapping her.
They're trying to keep the copyright on the character.
Is that what you think it is?
That's what a lot of the live action remakes have been.
They say the race swapping of Betty Boop comes on the heels of years of Hollywood casting actors who are black, gay, immigrant, or some combination thereof as characters who have traditionally been European, reports Breitbart. News of this project coincides with backlash of the race swapping of Euro characters in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, a film adaptation of the 2,800-year-old Greek epic. I heard that one, they're also getting the transgender...
Oh, Elliot Page?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's playing Achilles.
Which is just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But it always goes in one direction. And I think that's the real story here. I don't think many people care about Betty Boop. But we're like, listen, if somebody hired Tom Hanks to play Martin Luther King, could you imagine the backlash and the outcry?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the story. They say Betty Boop is one of our nation's most beloved cartoon characters.
Allegedly.
I don't know. But they say yet somehow still remains pleasantly niche. She has had a quiet but undeniable impact on culture for nearly a century. So we're making her black. That's the story. Got another one for you here in the lightning round. This one's pretty good, I guess. I don't know. Are you watching this interview? Candace Owens and Hunter Biden. Yep, never thought I'd say that. Candace Owens invited Hunter Biden into her home for an interview on the Candace Show. What did they talk about, you might ask?
Cocaine?
Well, no. Well, actually, they did talk about crack addiction for a little bit.
Okay.
But they actually came to the realization that they have a lot more in common than they have different. One of the things that they have in common is that Donald Trump obviously faked the 4 assassination attempts.
I mean, whether it's Butler or Charlie or
makes no sense.
These things that it's just not right. And I mean, it's so glaringly not right. It's almost as if they're just saying,
F
like,
you.
F you.
They're not even
I don't
trying.
care.
We don't even get good psyops anymore. And that's what I keep saying. I'm like, it's so disrespectful that we're not even getting good psyops anymore. Like we're supposed to believe he survived 4 assassination attempts.
Who could believe that? You know, at least they're making it look real, right? Like when he had that marksman on the roof have a bullet nick his ear. You know? Why would he fake? Why would he? What are we doing? I think it's important to point out that the grift here is completely apparent. She is doing this for clicks, and she's doing this for money. Back in December of 2024, she accused Hunter Biden of sexually assaulting his own niece, yet in May of 2026, she invites Hunter Biden into her home for reasons.
Hunter Biden. Welcome to the Candace Owens Show. But now it's been so long, people have forgotten about all of the weird things that were in that laptop. I mean, this family is so powerful that they are still keeping the media quiet about the most demented aspects of what was found on that laptop. I would rank Hunter Biden up there. I would rank Hunter Biden as top 3 interviews that I would like to do. I know what my account got frozen for on Twitter at the time. It was the text messages between Jim Biden, that's Hunter Biden's uncle, and Hunter Biden regarding an allegation that Hallie made that after getting her addicted to crack, Hunter Biden was sexually inappropriate with her daughter, meaning Beau's daughter, meaning his niece. That's what the text messages were talking about. And by the way, she would have been underage at that time. Media doesn't talk about it.
I listen to you and I go, right on.
After getting her addicted to crack, Hunter Biden was sexually inappropriate with his niece. She would have been underage at that time. Hunter Biden and Candace Owens. Get excited, you guys.
I'm so excited. I think it's important to point out Candace didn't change, the grift did. That's what changed there. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. I was talking to my son about this yesterday. So I was listening to this and he's like, what does this mean? Elon Musk is predicting that in the very near future, humans will have chips implanted directly into their brains, creating a brain-machine interface capable of giving people cybernetic powers. And my son said, what? And I said, yeah, listen, I think that this needs to be looked at as a firearm, right? Capable of very, very good things, capable of very, very evil things. You can use a gun to protect your family. You can use a gun to do harm to someone's family. And I think it's going to depend on how we use these things. I do think that in the very near future, as Elon Musk puts it, this technology is going to do some incredible things. Restore eyesight, allow paralyzed people to walk again. Incredible things, miracle type things. But on the flip side of that, I think that this technology will have the power to do very evil things. And I think that we need to make sure that we demonize it in such a way that we make it known that you wouldn't use a wheelchair if you can walk. So you shouldn't be using cybernetic brain implant chips if you don't have any issues that would require them. Elon said that these are Jesus level things.
I think some kind of brain machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think is probably good. It could, help people that have brain or spine injuries, enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which we've done. Give people eyesight who have lost both eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth, by direct interface to the optical centers in the brain. You can actually restore eyesight or give people eyesight that they've never had before. And you can enable people to walk again, which I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, let's say like when technologies are hitting like Jesus level miracles, that's pretty good.
I hate the framing. I do. I hate the dropping of these are Jesus level things. These are Jesus type miracles. I wouldn't frame it in that way. I understand that this is coming, whether we like it or not. There's going to be some remarkable things that come because of these kind of chips. But I think that we also need to understand that this could very well quickly devolve into Mark of the Beast type stuff.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Right? Like,
not a fan.
But again, if you have somebody that is paralyzed from the neck down, I understand why you would go that route.
Yeah.
But we do need to demonize it very, very quickly, that if you aren't paralyzed from the neck down, if you aren't blind, if you don't need this for a real reason, there should be no reason to get this whatsoever. It scares me where this could go. Every day that I live on this earth, the more and more I think Amish make the right choices. It's 11:55. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.